Hello, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Shane.
And welcome to Top 5 Beatdown, a show where we compare top 5s for topics that seem completely asinine, yet somehow garner strong opinions. And to add some fun to the mix, we compare our top 5s to that of a special guest. Today's topic is top 5 characters you wish were your dad. And today's special guest is a comedian and YouTuber. Please welcome to the Beat Zone, Eddy Burback.
Hey!
Yes.
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 Yeah, dude.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having
Greatest
me.
mustache in YouTube is now with us.
Thank you.
I can't imagine that anybody says my mustache is better than yours, other than maybe Ron Swanson, and he doesn't exist. So.
Or Steve Harvey, according to Drew, when he insulted me earlier.
That's true. Who's got a better mustache, him or Eddie?
In my heart and honestly, it's Steve Harvey. I'm sorry,
Yeah, I
Eddie.
think he was insulted by his friend Drew.
Betrayed even.
Speaking of mustaches, my dad has a mustache, and we're here to talk about dads. So how did you guys make this list?
Thought of dads.
Thought of dads. I thought a little selfishly for myself, you know. It's who I wish was my dad.
Yeah,
So I was
absolutely.
thinking what dads could offer me.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm on The Bachelor and the dads are trying to woo me.
Oh, interesting.
I see.
I think that plays into a few of my picks as well. Some of them are like, these are great dads. The other ones are like, as the progeny of this dad, what will I be like?
All right, without further ado,
Let's list. My number 5 is Charlie Brown's parents. They're kind of a package deal because you don't really get to see them. This is my most selfish pick. I just feel like if you get in trouble, you don't really have to hear anything at all.
Or nothing.
They're tuned out just automatic.
They're essentially absent, aren't they?
There's rules, you're still fed. You still have parents around to maybe drive you somewhere, but if you get in trouble, you don't have to hear it.
No,
You don't have to look at their faces.
I am going to challenge you here a little bit because this sounds like a lot of assumptions. Like, what if they're just absentee parents and they're terrible?
I feel like Charlie Brown had a decent childhood. Like,
He was very sad, though.
that's true. He doesn't really explain why.
You'd be
I
a
just thought he was naturally
sad.
sad.
Were you a sad boy?
I wasn't that sad of a boy.
Very gullible, too. Really went for that football every
Yeah.
time.
How are they going to learn the life lesson if his parents are just all the time?
So your number 5 is no dad, then?
There's features of a dad. It would make calling home a little bit easier because you could just kind of put him on speaker.
That's true.
Yeah, just give them the old, oh, that's crazy every now and then.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Can't
That's
believe
wild.
that.
At work?
Starting strong.
My number 5 and all of my picks are extremely selfish. My number 5 is Darth Vader.
I am your father.
He had some questionable fathering techniques as he was in his youth, but as he matured, he became a great father after death, and I'd love for my dad to be a Force ghost. Obviously, I believe in ghosts. But if we're talking selfish here, yeah, he's a bad guy, becomes a good guy. I don't really care about that.
Who else are we gonna see on here? Mussolini?
No. I will say what you're all failing to realize is that if Darth Vader is my dad, I'm Luke Skywalker, or at the very least, I have the Force in some way. I may not be Luke, like I'll be able to move like a pencil or something if I want to.
It's true. You're right.
That deal does come with having to kiss your sibling, though.
You gotta kiss. You gotta
Well,
really gotta
it's
kiss.
not-
You have to kiss Jake.
I might not be Luke. Maybe Darth had another kid who's kind of a dipshit. He still
Right.
has the Force though.
You still
know?
have siblings that kissed each other, though, so that's a little. That's
lot
just
to
a.
navigate.
It's an awkward Thanksgiving.
That's a lot to
You
navigate.
compartmentalize. I've seen Succession. You could just kind of like forget about your siblings. I can move some things with my mind. I can move popcorn into my mouth.
You can move those memories to the back of your brain.
Exactly, and I'd be mentally strong for it. And I think this is a good pick.
Great start. My number 5 is Coach Eric Taylor from Friday Night Lights.
Oh, I never watched that show.
Yeah, I never
It's
watched
a good show. He's a great guy. You know, he
Look at
tells
that
you
guy.
things like, I'm not going to give up on you, son. You know, football is life.
I mean, you certainly have a jawline that was chiseled by God.
I think so. Yeah. He,
not the one you
might
have
make
now.
me play football, which maybe that would be good. Maybe I needed to be more competitive in my youth.
I think
know?
you could have used a little bit of competition.
I had none. Never.
It shows. Every time we have any semblance of a competition, you
I quit.
collapse. You collapse.
If I don't like something, I quit.
If you had Eric Taylor, you wouldn't do things like joining me on Call of Duty with our friends and then dropping out and then just not explaining why. And then when we called you repeatedly, you didn't answer your phone. And the
got
next day,
real-
Eric confronted you at work, and I said, "What happened?" You said, "I didn't want to play
You
anymore."
guys got real aggro.
You Irish goodbye in an Xbox
Call of
party?
In
Duty.
an
Call of
Xbox
Duty,
game.
yeah.
Huh.
Very disrespectful.
Anyway, that's my number 5. Great guy.
All right, let's moving on to your number 4 here.
My number 4 is Whatever Spider-Man you're choosing, Spider-Man's dad.
Yes.
Yes, this dad is also gonna die or be missing in some way.
What? Where is he?
It depends.
Where'd he go?
Sometimes in the Andrew Garfield one, he was just like kind of around. Sometimes they're dead. Sometimes they're scientists that had to like abandon him for his own sake.
Where his mom?
Aunt May will say like, and ever since your parents were gone, and they never say what it was, but you get to be Spider-Man.
The fact that they're both absentee is really concerning.
But I get something out of this.
That's true.
Interesting. You're holding up a Rorschach blot to understand Eddie as a person right now, and
I did put it near the bottom. So
Yeah.
there's a little part in me that wanted these things.
all right, let's move on to my number 4 here. My number 4 is Joel from The Last of Us. This is a trendy pick, I get it. He's very much in the zeitgeist right now, and I am obsessed with Pedro Pascal. I will say, I think he's just a strong, fucking cool guy, and like he's like a man's man, And I feel like that would be like good to be around. Like
Toxic.
Great dad to golf with.
great dad to golf with, have a glass of whiskey neat with, probably.
What is this, the
and kill
man show?
And kill some guys. I don't know. I don't think I'm a man's man. That must be a shock to all of you on this channel. But it would be cool to have a dad who kills zombies and stuff. I don't know, I think I like him.
That'd be cool. He's a killer. So far, both killers.
Doing a lot of danger having Joel being your father figure. Not a great track record for the safety of
you want
a
to get
child
shot
in Joel's
in the
hands.
back.
Well,
at age 4.
That wasn't exactly his fault,
It wasn't his fault, but he's kind of a magnet to it,
Yeah. All right, well, hey, I love it. That's a great pick. My number 4 is Pongo
Who the fuck is Pongo?
Who's Pongo?
from 101 Dalmatians.
That's the dad's name in 101, the guy who plays piano?
No,
The
Pongo.
fucking
The lead dog.
the dog.
Oh, okay.
There he is. Look at this fucking unit. Pongo and Perdita, wonderful parents.
Does that dog talk in the movie?
Yeah, he talks the whole dang movie.
I forget, do the dogs talk in
They
this movie?
chit chat away. Yeah.
Cool. What makes this guy a great dad? What are some characteristics?
Because he has 99 children. But they're all very happy.
Are they?
He's a great dad.
They get terrorized by an old lady who
here's
wants to kill them.
And what happens? They rescue them. He assembles all the dogs in London, and they go and they rescue them. And as the child of this man, I get to get up to some hijinks. I get to really stick it to Cruella de Vil, who I wouldn't mind being my mother, just by the way.
Are you a dog or are they all dogs and you're just kind of sitting there?
In this, I'm a dog.
Okay.
Or maybe I'm a man and the dog is my father, which is something to think about.
I like that a little bit
Yeah,
more.
we're just
That's
all a
interesting, too.
family. Me and these 100 and...
I've got 98 Dalmatian siblings.
You're getting rid of one
I'm
of
number
the-
99.
Okay.
But you're not.
I'm 99.
But you're not a Dalmatian though.
I'm a man. I wear a collar. I don't wear clothes.
You painted spots on yourself.
The movie's 100 Dalmatians and one boy. Before we get into the top 3s, let's have a word from our sponsor.
It's me, Steven, your friendly ringside commentator, bringing you our episode sponsor, Falling Whale Games Top 5 People You Meet at a Game Day Party. Watch Hockey Get Drunk and Watch Football Get Drunk are 2 drinking card games perfect for game day, designed to keep everyone's attention on the live game while still handing out plenty of drinks. Each box is multiple drinking games in one and includes secret plays, trivia, challenges, group votes, mini games, and more. Now, for your top 5. Number 5, the Die Hard Fan. This fan brings their competitive nature out with the secret play deck, which gives everyone 3 secret cards that have an action to look out for during the live game. If you've got a card that says if the ball is dropped during active play, you can give someone a drink. Number 4, the Lush. They love to drink throughout the game on TV, whether it's with or without alcohol. But they wouldn't turn down a beer from their host. No, no, no. Number 3, the Dynamic Duo. They love the Always in Play cards for celebrating big moments together throughout the live game. Go team! And number 2, the Sports Fan who doesn't follow sports. Yay! Finally a commercial break. An incredibly fun one. Like this one. They don't care what's happening, so when there's a commercial or halftime break, it's officially break deck time. The group takes turns drawing cards from their deck full of trivia, challenges, group votes, mini games, and more. And number 1, the one you've all been waiting for, the team rival. The worst. They wore the wrong team color and have been shunned by the rest of the group. Get your copy for next game day. Now, back to the Beat Zone.
Let's go into Eddie's number 3.
All right, my number 3 pick is Mufasa.
Yeah.
Nice.
And you gotta go with Mufasa for a couple of reasons. Obviously, all the dad characteristics. He's strong-willed, he's noble, he's wise. But also, when he dies, you just get to keep talking to him.
That's true.
He's just around all the time. And on top of that, can you imagine being at a party and telling people that your dad died in a stampede?
A wildebeest.
The questions people would have.
Yeah.
It's such an interesting story, and then you could talk about how the party went with him in the clouds later.
You'd be like, my dad got stomped to death in front of me as I hung off a cliff.
Yep.
And your uncle tried to kill him.
The fall didn't get him, but the stampede did.
It was an orchestrated hit by my uncle to watch my dad get beat to death by hooves.
So it's sad in the moment, but then you get to keep chatting.
It's really something.
And it gives you a good origin story,
Yeah.
the hero's journey, if you will, and you get to FaceTime with them via God.
And in my teenage years, I get to kind of have a mohawk.
That's true. So you're a lion in this situation.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Well, if he was a human, he'd eat his ass. Like, oh, he wouldn't eat his
That's
ass,
true.
but he'd eat his, ass, I suppose.
right, yeah.
It's not a funny pick, it's a pick that like,
Strong.
I want this to be my dad.
Yeah, I get it.
And he even says it in the movie, no one's better, or he's like, no one's stronger than your dad.
No one's better than you, Dad.
And I think the next scene he dies. All right, my number 3 is
Uncle Phil.
Perfect pick.
Now, huge Fresh Prince of Bel-Air fan. This guy just values are there, taking in somebody out of the kindness of his heart, putting him in a better situation. Was there for Will when his own dad pieced out. That episode heartbreaking. I want to clarify that I do want him to have the same relationship to me as like Will did to him, and that he's my uncle. He swooped in as a father figure. And he's also raised his own kids to perfection. Carlton's a funny little guy, dances.
It's every dad's
taught him
dream
that dance?
to
His
raise a
dad.
funny little guy.
That's right. That's what my dad did. He raised a funny little guy.
he
He
did.
didn't teach me how to dance like he taught Carlton, but
The squeaking.
All right, my number 3 is Pops Racer.
oh, from Speed Racer.
Oh.
I'm talking about the 2008 film Speed Racer.
We know, Shane. We know which one you're talking.
I'm talking about my man John Goodman. Pops Racer is a great dad. He encourages his son to race. He fights a ninja. There's a scene at the end of the film where he has a heart-to-heart with his son. If you buy into the movie, which I think you should because it's one of the best movies of the past 20 years, it makes me cry every time I watch it. It's really good.
Well, thank you for muscling that one
great
onto
dad.
the list. Let's go on over to Eddie for number 2.
All right, my number 2 is Uncle Iroh from Avatar: The Last Airbender. However, I did in parentheses put war crimes with a frowny face.
You acknowledged his problematic past, which
makes
I
him-
admit I should have done.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
He's such a sweet guy, but also
He just loves his
war
tea.
crimes.
Never
you
seen
know.
the show. What are we talking crime-wise here?
He was the general in a war that was pretty one-sided.
They slaughtered a lot of people mercilessly.
A lot of it's implied pretty much that he was like the person who brought the most pain, but also has changed the most. And he's just a sweet, nice man that I feel like could teach me a lot of things. Teach me to redirect lightning, possibly,
That's awesome.
which would be awesome.
Useful.
He's just I feel like a really solid pick, except for frowny face, the war crimes.
Do you guys ever think about getting hit by lightning as much as I do?
My dad was hit by lightning.
One time in my bedroom across the street, the tree in front of me got struck by lightning, and I thought a nuke went off. It just flashed white. My first thought was a nuke. It was storming. I should have thought lightning.
Do you think if you got hit by lightning, your mustache would sizzle?
It says a little bit on the end, and then I would put it out, and it would go.
My number 2 is Mufasa.
Nice.
I had to kind of tone it down of like my praise for his because I knew he's coming back. He doesn't in the movie, dead for sure. We already spoke about him, so we don't have to speak at more length here, but
The James Earl Jones effect.
Yeah.
oh wow, I got 2 Jameses here.
Yeah,
That's
double
crazy.
James.
Really silky, smooth, buttery voice.
It's like the opposite of Charlie Brown's dad.
It's like the opposite where they're like, wah, wah, wah. He's like, oh yeah.
That's what he said.
One day this will all be. He's like, oh yeah, oh yeah.
I'm never gonna die.
1,000 wildebeest could run into me, and I'd be fine.
Let's move on to Shane's number 2.
My number 2 is Seabiscuit.
Yo, dude, what the fuck? Man.
This one's a little selfish. Seabiscuit, actually, after he won all his big awards and accolades, they put him out to stud. And he sired, I think, 108 children.
Jesus Christ.
2 or 3 of whom went on to win, races and all that horse shit.
A little disturbing that you know the exact number of horses he's had sex
Also,
with.
similar number to the Dalmatian.
I know, isn't that weird? I didn't think I would top Pongo, but this guy's out here just living a pretty tiring life. I'm just curious to know how strong and fast I'd be if he was my biological father.
As a horse, you'd be a horse.
I don't know if I'm full horse or
Wait,
if it's
what? No, there
horse
is-
and woman.
You are a horse. That's not in the universe.
Okay, I'm a little horse then. I'm a little horse.
What about him as a dad, though?
Big, strong dad. I could race him. We could race.
I think that's all we're gonna get out of Shane there for his number 2 pick.
And he's
for
a celebrity.
dad.
It's cool to have a famous dad. Okay, the time has come for our number ones. Very exciting.
It's very, very, very tense here in the studio.
Very tense.
My number 1 pick is, and this might be recency bias, Wayman from Everything Everywhere.
Oh, damn, dude, that's so good.
I mean, I just think there's no sweeter man in movies than this man right here.
Yeah,
He's the best. He's thoughtful, he's fun. They do karaoke at one point.
They do karaoke.
I don't even really like karaoke because I can't sing, but I would do it with him.
He's a little taken for granted, and I almost wish you were his son so that you could give him hugs.
Gives him great speeches.
Yeah.
And looks good while doing it.
Can rock a fanny pack, which is an important dad trait.
That's rude, and he beat the shit out of people with that fanny pack.
dude.
Also, as a dad, he moisturizes his lips with chapstick, which is important.
I respect that.
I don't think there's one person who would be not improved if this man was their father. Like, if every person who has this guy as their dad is going to be a better person, that's why we do this.
That's why, I mean, it's a service.
Moving on to my number 1. My number 1 is Dr. Henry Jones Jr., aka Indiana Jones.
That's really good.
Some might say, Ryan, he's an absentee father, and I will say to you, he did not know he was a dad until Shia LaBeouf, his child, was much older in his teens. And had he known that, he would have made him go to school, he would have taught him how to be an archaeologist, he would have taught him how to fight. Great guy, my favorite movie character of all time. I just want to make this clear, Dad, I know you watch these shows, none of these guys got nothing on you. Except maybe Indy a little bit. I mean, but he's Harrison Ford. You understand that?
I feel like we also didn't stress. I'm not trying to replace my dad. This is just like a fun exercise.
Of course.
Yeah,
no.
If Mufasa and my dad would fucking replace him, he's a fucking cool.
No, I get it. And they cut the mics when we do that.
Yeah, I know. You guys wouldn't put this in.
If Seabiscuit came up to me today.
These are great at blocking your face.
Honestly, you have a better mustache than my dad, too.
Do you want me to be your dad?
Okay.
I have no experience. Do you want me to be your dad?
I'm kind of down. I could switch the list. We could just re-edit
We'll
it.
talk later. We'll talk. Instagram DM.
Yeah.
Beautiful episode.
None of these are better than you, Dad.
We love dads.
Okay, my number 1. And I'll admit, this is maybe the most selfish. My number 1 is...
Oh, Jesus. God damn it, dude. God damn it.
God.
Unbelievable.
From the Bible, but he's also in many television shows and films, The 10 Commandments, if I have to.
But you did put parentheses, Bible.
Well, I didn't want anyone to get confused which God I was talking about, but God...
Oh, are you saying biblical, like as in Christian?
Bible God, sure, Christian God. I'm not Christian. Many people know I'm not a religious man in any sense. I do think it would be cool to have all the sort of powers that Jesus had and just not tell anybody and just have a pretty solid life.
So you mean to tell me...
Like his big mistake was going around and being like, hey, you know who my dad is?
And he really fucking told everybody.
Hey.
Oh my God.
I want him to be my dad so that I can be magic.
I feel like we had a couple selfish picks. This is a whole new level.
You would be God then.
If I had the power to never die and live forever, I would take it.
You want the sun to burn out and Earth's...
I want to be the last person.
Earth's core to shrivel as all of your loved ones die one by one in front of you.
Yeah, but after 1,000,000 years, I won't even remember any of them.
Oh my God.
And I don't mean to offend anybody with this, by the way.
For the guy who bought you oatmeal as his number 1 cereal, here's God.
Again, I'm not God. I'm just
Just Shane.
me.
to Shane and Jesus Christ.
Well, you know, that about wraps it up. Is there something that you'd like to plug for the viewers at home?
Just generally what I do online, pretty much.
His Rainforest Cafe video, which is what introduced me to you, one of the funniest things I've seen on YouTube. Make sure you guys chime off in the comments about our list. Who had the best one, who had the worst, what you didn't or did agree with.
That's the list.